Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, their kids were taken away.
Your stepson said you kept baby sister in the closet.
These kids weren't abused, they weren't neglected.
You were never beaten every day.
Those are lies.
Now,
They need their mother.
They don't. They need someone that cares about them.
can these parents
You have a volatile history that they have determined is unsafe for these children.
get their children back?
What matters is the impact on the kids. You say that you've been, I'll stop talking when I'm ready. You don't run this show.
Without turning on each other.
You did emotionally abuse him. Well, you apologize for how you treated him. You abused him. You abused him. And I want you to apologize to my kid.
You can't blame this all on him because you were there. You're at fault too.
Let's do it. This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phil.
How are you? Thank you very much. You know, just 9 months ago, I sat right here with two very memorable guests, Minny and her 17-year-old son, Andrew. Now, Andrew was so fed up with his mom and stepfather's parenting that he says he went to the extreme to escape.
Life was really good until I turned 7. That's when my mom married Lon. Lon physically and mentally abused me every day. My mom knew everything. She would be in the room while my dad was beating me, and she never did anything to stop it.
Lon, let me ask you something. Is that true?
This child's never been abused, Dr. Phil. Your story just doesn't hold water, son.
Are you telling the truth here?
Words can't describe how bad it actually was.
On November 9th, 2012, my son tried to kill himself by shooting himself point blank in the chest.
Why did you shoot yourself?
I did it because of you and the house I was in. I did it to escape your household.
I chose you were a nutcase, Andrew.
Lon, don't refer to him as a nutcase. That's not right.
He's called me that my whole life.
Well, Andrew thought his only way out was a gun. He ended up in the hospital, and that's when the story took another turn. Minny then accused Andrew's biological father, David, of abducting Andrew from the hospital. Take a look at what happened.
David devised a plan to take Andrew from the hospital without my permission. I believe there was a conspiracy to have my son kidnapped.
I did not kidnap my son, Andrew. Lon and Minnie asked me to take him for him to live with us. The plan was he was going to come live with me.
I tried to report your child abduction
There
kidnapping.
was no abduction. I
Okay.
told you point blank, I
Okay.
want to go back to the abuse in your house. My life now is very different. I have a girlfriend, I have a car, I graduated high school, I have a full-time job. These are all things my mom wouldn't let me do.
If you have history here with these folks that has been painful to you, I hope you find it in your heart to forgive that. And if you can do that, I mean, it sets you free. If you need something, I'm a dial away, and we'll go from there. How's that?
I appreciate that very
All right.
much.
Good. All right. In my 13 years and over 10,000 guests on this stage, Andrew is one of the only guests that Robin and I ever walked off with from this stage. He really made an impression with our viewers as well. The message boards lit up with comments about how brave he was and how most viewers believed his story. Well, in fact, so did the Department of Human Services. After the show, Lon and Minnie's younger 3 children were taken away and put in foster care. A few months later, Andrew testified against his mother and stepfather and became DHS's star witness. Here is what he had told us about sibling life in the home when he was on the show.
I have 2 brothers and I have a little sister. My mother would lock my little sister in the closet when she cried. They called her the closet baby. My mother used to slap her so hard that I'd leave welts, pinch her until it broke skin. There was always bruises on her, always. My little brother is 7 and has never gone to school. He can't read or write, and he has a speech impediment. I know the abuse is still continuing now that I'm gone. I fear for the children's well-being. My mom and Lon are very abusive people. Lon physically and mentally abused me every day of my life for 10 years. He beat me with his fist, spatulas. One time, he took the barbecue spoon he was using and hit me in the face with it. I actually have a scar right here. Remember, one time I didn't get my room clean. He made me live in a tent for 4 months. Lon would give me alcohol and marijuana in exchange for working. He told me I was his slave, and he owned me. My mom knew everything. She never did anything to stop it.
For the past 8 months, since the children have been in foster care, Lon and Minny have only had short supervised visits with their children. Take a look.
After the Dr. Phil show, I couldn't understand why Andrew went on national television and said that he was tortured, starved, and beaten every day for 10 years, because that never happened. He made it seem 90% worse than what it was.
I expected a visit from Child Protective Services. Andrew's allegations were so horrific that anybody in any position to protect children would have to investigate.
CPS came, interviewed the children, then the police came to take the children. That was the hardest day of my life. The court process started right away. Andrew testified. He said things that he didn't say on the Dr. Phil show. The state had 117 facts and findings as to why we shouldn't have our children.
It went from bad to being evil. Andrew's a sociopath.
I took all of his photos from childhood and burned them in the fireplace.
I don't see any way that there'll ever be a relationship with Andrew in our family. Even if he is sick and he's a psychopath, I don't believe that you can have a relationship with somebody that has caused so much pain.
Well, Minny and Lon say they want to get their children back and came to me for help. Now, Lon says DHS, well, he just says they're plotting against them.
There is one person not allowing these children to come home, and it is our caseworker. The CPS worker has continually put in writing that I have alcohol and marijuana abuse problems. However, after 8 weeks of testing, their experts have decided that I didn't have a drug and alcohol problem. Other examples are that I'm violent. I've had no history of being violent.
At the time the children were taken, my sobriety was an issue. That, again, was blown out of proportion. Being told that, I was this unfit mother, I drove my son to shoot himself. I mean, that's the ultimate. You're so horrible, your son shoots himself. I have some issues. I drink a little bit too much wine at night, but that's not horrible parenting. Over the last 3 months, I have been in alcohol treatment. I've been completely sober.
I would like to think that we're working on becoming better parents, both of us.
I've grown, I'm older, I'm wiser. This is my chance to start fresh.
Okay, I have a lot to say, so I want to jump right into this. Minny, you have a question. You want to know what more can we do to prove to DHS we should have our kids back?
Yes.
Right? And Lon wants to know, am I a fit parent? That's your question.
I have a lot of questions, Dr. Phil, but that's certainly one of them.
Well, that's a big one, right?
Yes, sir.
I know how to get your children back. I know exactly what you need to do, know exactly how you need to do it. So if you truly want your children back, I can tell you what you need to do that. The question is, will you do it or not?
They had a reason to come and do an investigation, Dr. Phil, and you're well aware of why we had a tragic incident happen with another child, and we truly understand why they had to do their job.
Okay, and the tragic incident you're talking about is Andrew shooting himself in the chest, yes, by his report saying that he was doing that to escape the horrible abuse that you were heaping on him and neglect that you were heaping on him and allowing you to do that.
Yes, sir.
Have you said since then that you wish he had had a bigger gun?
No, sir. I wouldn't say that.
Yes, you did.
You
say it all the time.
Are we going to have a candid conversation here? Because I just asked you straight up. I said, did you say you wish he had had a bigger gun? You said, no, I didn't say that. She said, yes, you did. You said, well, okay. I said,
and I don't remember some of the things I've told Minnie when I've been angry and frustrated. I don't. I mean, I'm sure I've said some horrible things in the privacy of our home, and I don't recall everything I've said to her.
Were you inadequate parents for these children that you're wanting back?
I don't know if the word inadequate's right, but we were dysfunctional.
According to Andrew, this is what he testified in court. He said you kept baby sister in the closet for a year, that you didn't potty train the 8-year-old brother, that you slapped his sister and left welts.
All three of those are lies.
That you have attempted suicide many times.
Okay, that's in the history of, yes, Andrew's childhood. That
Years
has
and
occurred years ago. Yes.
That you drank excessively.
Yes.
That you smoked pot excessively.
Describe excessively. I mean, I smoke to go to sleep at night. I have a medical permit. She never slapped him. She never slapped the baby. The 8-year-old was potty trained, Dr. Phil. The only problem that we had was the girl had some toilet issues.
Okay, so other than Andrew shooting himself in the chest, as far as the other 3 children, you see no reason for them to have been taken at all?
No, I don't. These kids weren't abused. They weren't neglected.
All right, well, Minny and Lon say that they are separated and headed for divorce. But is that true? There's something very important that Minny wants to reveal when we come back. You start sending a flurry of tweets to Robin and me.
I don't remember that, Dr. Phil, honestly.
Okay, well, you sent about 20.
He won't stop talking.
I'll stop talking when I'm ready to stop talking. Okay. You don't run this show. And later...
I want you to apologize to my son! I want you to apologize to him!
You can't look me in the eyes, can you?
Really?
You're nothing but a coward!
Really?
Yes!
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
The former UFC fighter arrested for allegedly beating his wife.
She defends her husband.
You don't think he should be in jail?
No.
Has he threatened to kill you?
Yeah, but I have too.
And the one person in her corner.
He would have killed her that night if she hadn't left. Shut up. You're so annoying.
She slams the hardest.
This is the mother that